4. Brianna, would you please call the roll?
So, Counselor Gilson,
Sure.
Counselor Lacoste, Counselor Isom, please correct me if I pronounce anything wrong.
Here.
Mayor Lockenbrecht,
Here.
Counselor Flores, Counselor Strauss,
Here.
and Counselor
Romer.
Roner.
Romer.
I'm,
You're fine.
okay.
No N.
2 humps, not 1.
We're so happy you're back today.
Okay. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to thank all of you who took time to attend tonight. And any guests who are physically present need to fill out the meeting sign-in sheet near the door. And we're running a hybrid meeting again to continue to allow those who want to and remotely to do so. To cut down on background noise and feedback, enrolled attendees should mute themselves while not speaking. Staff members and guests or on the agenda need to unmute themselves to give reports to council. Audience members may unmute themselves to speak during a public hearing and during citizen comments. First item on the agenda is council amendment. New comment. Are there any questions, comments, or amendments to the general minutes?
Yes, I have one.
Okay,
On page 7 under the library report. Guessing this is a typo. Was the AC had caused a leak and it was repaid, and now it's working? I would guess repaired.
Okay. Yes, it's not repaid.
all? Anyone else? Going once, going twice. I would entertain a motion.
I move that the governing body of City of Halsey approve January 9th city council minutes as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
I
Opposed? Motion carries. So the next item on the agenda is financial reports and journal entries. Any questions, comments, concerns?
There was one additional interesting note in December, page.
Okay, no, which one did it say?
32. It says $1,459 for flowers for Officer
Hockey?
Howie.
My question with that is that Elon Financial, is that the Visa?
No,
Okay,
Brianna and I were looking at that and she suspects that what it is just a mistypo in the description. And that going back, trying to find the flowers would be probably type in the description and kids. And she didn't take a look at that. Because I like him, he's a great guy, but I'm thinking that's a bit much for flower.
Yes.
yeah. One Janos trophy, we got a nameplate for Mitch Little.
Yep.
Or,
He's on the
budget
Planning Committee.
planning committee.
planning.
Anything, anyone else? No? Okay, I would entertain a motion.
Move that the governing body of the city of Halsey approve the November, December financial reports and journal entries as submitted.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but, we do have to do them one at a time, so motion for November and then motion for this year.
I think two separate months. I move that the governing body of the city of Halsey approve the November financial reports and journal entries as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I move that the governing body of the city of Halsey approve the December 2023 financial reports entries as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Are there any agenda adjustments tonight?
That reason that I was pointing out at the beginning is because page 9 of the packet had some incorrect information summarizing the financials. All the financials were correct, that summary was incorrect. Counselors have the updated page that has the correct information and
We'll move on to delegations and see the sheriff's department is locked in. You are all of the sheriff's department.
Yeah.
Feels like it at times, huh?
Are you ready for me?
Yes, sir.
Question, because I lost. So in typical holiday fashion, 2023 was great for property crime. 2024, continuing that, the property crime in January, no arrests were made, which is great to see. So you kind of correlate that to self-initiated activity. If we're not having people being an issue, guys are kind of looking for things. 14 traffic stops. One thing I'd like to point out, I wanted it to be like page 2. That is fixing cones from traffic at 1:19 in the morning.
Right.
Checking on suspicious vehicles in parking lots and then proceeding to check door to area businesses. 10:26 at night, 1:00 in the morning, 4:20 in the morning. 1:39 in the morning. 1:36 in the morning, 12:25 in the morning, 2:00 in the morning. 3:04 in the morning, 10:48 PM, 12:38 AM. It's great to see. We don't typically have a lot of issues in the daylight.
Right.
A lot of our issues in the daylight actually kind of stem from nights. People run around, bag out, cause a bunch of chaos at night, and then people wake up in the morning to find it, and then deputies kind of clean up in the morning, and so. It's great to see a smaller city not having those issues, but deputies still trying to stay proactive at night and are awake noticing against it. Questions, comments there?
Well, I gotta tell you, I just found out that Deputy Hockey was on shift today.
Oh, yeah.
I'm utterly amazed.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Glad to see he's doing better.
Yeah, he's doing really good. Our medicine.
I tell you.
I just have to say, I had a chuckle at the one about the citizen reported suspicious activity around mailboxes.
Yeah.
It turns out it was a kid just getting the mail.
Yeah.
Just made me chuckle.
That's the least of our
I
problem.
know, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, okay.
That's easily something that could have been something
Mhm,
people didn't call, and typically they won't on something.
right,
So I'd much rather we call them
right.
and we're nearby, we can check with them, if they're just kids. Very well, we actually had an incident in Harrisburg, that have to go over with them, it was just like, hey, you never seen this truck at this business before. We arrested both of them for burglary, because as soon as the owner locked up, a new car showed up and went right in behind them, knowing that they had just left and probably would be returning. And so things like that, neighborhood watch groups are amazing.
Mhm.
They see
Yeah.
little things like that, and so that caller noticed that that was kind of out of place for that area. and call. Turned out to be absolutely nothing, but you just, so,
Yeah,
those calls, yeah, they're silly and kind of funny to read, but
Right.
they're not a waste of time by any means.
Yeah.
anyone else?
There was something wrong.
Um,
All this way.
Go on the break.
You can just hang out and sit and relax. We'll tell them that
So
you took
the,
forever.
The, on the follow-up report on 800 West First Street,
What page are you on?
I'm on page 41. The deputy.
It goes on to-
Follow-up.
There's a follow-up on page 39. There's a follow,
Yeah,
there's like 5 or 6 different follow-up.
How about, so give me the page number on this report. I didn't print up the full agenda.
It's
it would be
page,
6 of 9,
the original report's on 4 of 9.
is it?
Yeah, at the very top. Somebody loaned a car out to their friend and they crashed it and it was a hit and run.
Okay.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm follow-ups, I'm surprised they have a narrative at all.
It's in here like,
Yeah, so when you see follow-up,
Mhm.
all that means is that they're just doing more work on a call that's already been created in the past.
Okay, yeah,
And so, like if we have a burglary or something, you'll see calls in the days afterward of like follow-up. Well, that's because they go there to collect the video. And then over the next period of days, it's like follow-up for reviewing the video.
sure.
And then they'll continue to do, so they don't tend to add a lot of details in there.
Mhm.
We try to address that issue a lot. It's just, it's a lot. Patrol guys as far as documentation, yeah, but that, I guess you could call it a crash was like not.
Sure.
It was more of a civil issue than.
Anyone else? Jerry? Well, thank you much.
You're welcome.
Be safe.
See you when we see it.
Be safe.
okay.
That's almost at least a month.
What's that?
That's almost at least a month.
It's never at least a month, but.
Thank you.
Thank you. So. Have we heard from Dave?
Dave, is supposed to be here, so
Okay.
I'm going to try to call him. I am doing that right. Thank you.
You can pin it on the GPS.
It's been.
So is 7 Stars OLCC?
Yeah.
Are they? Okay. Yeah,
Good evening to you.
Hey, we can hear you.
hello,
Yes, good evening, everyone.
hello,
Hello?
can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
Hello?
hello there,
Yes, good evening to everyone. I can hear you.
excellent, excellent.
Thank you.
We're here to discuss the OLCC license recommendation for 7 Stars Market.
Yes,
So the question I have is, are you the new owner of 7 Stars, all the stores, or just the Halsey Market?
I have a one store down in a Forest Grove, but I'm still part of the same 7 Star. Sunny is still with me, so I took the share of the other 2 partners. And
Okay.
now it's me and Sunny who run the Halsey Food Mart, and we are going to change the name to old name to Halsey Food Mart instead of like a 7 Star convenience store.
Awesome, okay.
Yeah.
So basically it's just a corporate realignment. Okay. So they've submitted a request for a liquor license approval. We don't make the hard thumbs up or thumbs down, but we made recommendations. So there is approval as recommended, approve with amendments, provides further directions to staff, or deny the request. Those are your choices for moving forward. As everybody had a chance to review it and get an idea what's going on. Okay, with that, I would entertain a motion.
I move that the governing body of City of Halsey approve the liquor license application for the Seven Stars Market.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, I will follow up with an email to you. Any information regarding the sign and getting. Ken, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, what did you say?
This is Brianna. I will follow up with you, by email.
Okay.
Any of your documents and next steps.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You guys have a
Night.
You do.
Thank you.
And Dave's not here. So. We're just going to circle around back to him hopefully. Next, we have Josh Stanley with Sweet Home Sanitation. Hello there. Doing well, thank you. Fellas.
Got a little slideshow for you guys.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
This is not the angry.
Okay, great.
All right, so this is regarding our 2024 price increase. Last year we were here, did a presentation, talked through it. We came in, last year came in at 8.15, which was the steepest all of us have ever seen.
Yeah.
So this year we are down from that, came down at 4.21%. So a lot better than last year, right? That's what we're here for, but give you a little bit of background of Sweet Home Sanitation. So this is our annual reports and rates. And then the next slide talks about kind of who we are. So we're based out of Sweet Home. We have 15 full-time employees. 15 is including me. So we have 14 hourly employees. We have 5 core values, safety being number 1, right? Safety for our drivers and safety for the customers in the communities which we serve. Integrity, right? We say we will go get your garbage can. I expect my guys to do it right. Number 3 is customer service. We try to provide the best customer service that we can. Given that it's not overtaking safety, we do what we can. Number 4, to be a great place to work. We strive to be that great place to work where people want to come to work for us. Number 5, to be the premier waste hauler. If we hit the first floor, number 5 is going to go in line with us. So I think we do a very good job of that. We're always striving to be better. So that's just kind of what Sweet Home. So to dive into safety more, and we have these things called drive cams. So basically there's an inward and an outward facing camera in all of our vehicles, whether that is a supervisory truck, whether that is the garbage truck that you see. So it is always recording. So in the year 2023, we had 0 stored drive cams. So this drive cam will go off if we are following a car closer than 4 seconds. At any point in time, it'll go off and send me a clip. It'll go off if we run a stop sign, if we roll a stop sign, if we are texting and driving. So it is very up to date with AI, and it is noticing all of these things. And we had 0 stored drive cams in the town of Halsey in 2023. We had 0 incidents in Halsey. We spent over 150 hours a month, over 1,800 hours in the year here. And as of today, Sweet Home Sanitation is 482 days incident free in all of our communities. So, very big accomplishment. Spent lots of hours behind a truck seat, and to be able to accomplish that is a very big feat. So, 482 days today is a big deal. The next slide is kind of goes into our team. So your Sweet Home Sanitation team, Danny, 25 years, Carmen, 20 years, Rodney, 16 years, Joe, 16 years, Everett, 4 years, and Nicholas, 2 years. We have a very 10-year group. We are very, very experienced. We have over 100 years of driving experience behind the wheel of a garbage truck at our site. That doesn't happen often, especially at a smaller site.
Right.
The next slide is our customer count. We have 299 residential customers in Halsey. We have 28 commercials customers. We have 3 roll-off customers. For a total of 330 customers. Next slide shows how much debris was removed. Residentially, which is the curbside service, was 622 tons of garbage. Yard waste, 248 tons of yard waste. Recycling, residential recycling, 122 tons. Commercial MSW, which is garbage, 31 tons. Commercial recycling, 14 tons. MSW for roll-offs, 37 tons. So we took 690 tons to landfill and 384 tons to recycling facility. Next slide is our Halsey cleanup. We got 2 a year. The first one done June 10th, we removed 12.2 tons. The second one, October 14th, we removed 13.2 tons from the town. So 24, 25-ish tons removed from cleanups. That's a lot of curbside debris. So yeah. And then the last page, we have a couple need to know events. The spring cleanup this year is June 8th. The fall cleanup is October 12th. And the HHW located at Sweet Home Sanitation and the transfer station is October 5th. One thing I did do this year, last year while I was here, our calendars were confusing to your residents. So I went a step further and especially made up calendars for you guys. And on them, this little pamphlet here, it has you guys have seen it. It has all of these special events located on the right side, as well as when our weekly yard debris is, which was the big question. And on that right side, everything is color coordinated with the dates that are happening. So try to make it very easy so your residents can look at it and know when is yard debris, when is the spring cleanup. So glad these got in, gave Brown a bunch of them. I'm ready to mail them out and do whatever we can to make sure all the residents get them. And then kind of the last slide, do you guys have any questions for me?
I would like for the record to commend you guys. I was really glad for once that you didn't pick up the garbage, because during the ice storm it would have been a really bad deal for you guys. And I'm glad you took the prudent decision and decided not to pick up that day, because it was just unpassable.
I appreciate that. You know, safety being number one, we were looking at the roads and it was crazy, right? Just trying to get over here. So, you know, not everybody was happy about that, but you know, our responsibility is my drivers and your community members, right? So we have to put that in the forefront of picking up garbage. It'll still be there next week, right? We got it next week. It's not next week.
As you see these videos of accidents in ice storms, and invariably 90% of the garbage trucks you just can't get around in that stuff.
Nope. Yeah, so, appreciate that. Thank you.
I had a question from a community member about the hazardous waste.
Okay.
At the home sanitation. They tried to take old paint
Mhm.
and got told they could not leave it. Something had to be dried or is a wrong kind of paint or something, I don't.
So
Or all of it, but,
the HHW is for the wet paint.
right,
We don't take wet paint in the transfer station, but HHW is based on the liquid paint that is still wet, yes. So I don't know why they would be turned away.
they may have tried to go to the transfer.
Okay, yeah,
If I did, yes.
can't take it there, but yeah, HHW is for that,
Sure.
for some light bulbs, to that stuff.
Okay.
So why did you guys have to change about as far as taking like old TVs and stuff like that?
So the permitting changed in order to do that, and we've had to revamp the transfer station. And so in order to have the electronic waste, you must have a covered area. We had to tear down the old building to put in a new scale, so we lost our covered area. So that's why.
Have you heard any more about, we talked in the past of possibly putting in something like at the Halsey grocery store, somewhere fairly accessible, that's centrally located as far as, you know, like a place people can dump batteries. What's the person supposed to do with AA and AAA batteries? I mean, everything's got a remote nowadays, it seems like.
Yeah, we've never thought of that. So just to answer that point, I've never put thought towards that. But also that goes towards the HHW, right? That's that time to take that material. So that's kind of a tough one because it's a hazardous waste. We don't accept it anymore because of that, we take the car batteries. So I would have to think about that and try to come up with a plan and talk to some regulation people about that.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Cleanup days are awesome.
Good.
Yes.
How you guys like them? They are,
Work.
they are a lot of work, right? Show up and start piling the garbage. We usually pack a garbage truck out, both of them, so we drive back, dump again, come back out. And I know you guys, a lot of people rely on that. Hence the 13.2 tons.
Yeah.
To come overnight. But yeah,
We have a lot of elderly community that is their only way of getting rid of a lot of stuff.
yeah,
Okay, well, nothing else. Thank you very much.
thank you guys.
Presume she's talking to Dave. Okay,
And just, with us, if you're free to stay, you're free to go. I mean, I know it's exciting. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you guys.
see that.
Thank you.
Yep, it's riveting.
You want this back?
No, you bet.
Bunch of like.
Okay.
Are they are being mailed out or we're,
Right now, we have some,
okay,
we drop them off here.
okay, perfect.
Yeah, we are, last year, that was a concern, and so this year was like.
Got it.
Here. Hey, guys.
Yeah, we're gonna circle back to Dave.
Oh, you said hold on.
Oh, hold on. We have that big. Okay, well, until then. We have citizen comments. This is time for interested citizens and anyone in the audience to address the council on any item of concern. Please limit your comments to about 3 minutes. Please start by introducing yourself and stating your address.
You're on Halsey.
Hello.
Dawson Morales. My address is 453 West Fifth Street. I am here to thank you guys for and update you on the camera. I did end up going to Brownsville, and I'm not sure if you guys have seen the newspaper, but I've won it a couple times, kind of famous.
Was proud.
It's been very proud. They told me to go to the Central Community Foundation, but we decided to go ahead with a different type of plan. Instead of going forward with that, they, as I take pictures for sports teams, I was thinking to ask them for a small donation, and there are many sports teams, so small donations can add up to something big. And so we're currently in the process of trying to gather the other 50. So I don't know if you guys have any more questions. Just a huge thank you for then being able to get the idea to go over there to Brownsville. I enjoy going to these sort of meetings. I like being here, so.
I have to say, I'm incredibly impressed with your ability to come up with an idea for a solution or many ideas, and the willingness to step forward and try to put plans into motion. And also I have to commend you on the ability to accept rejection humbly and come with another plan. Thank you.
It was hard sitting there listening at the Brownsville meeting when they told her no and to go check out the other. It was like,
Did you go?
I did, I went.
Did you heckle them?
Kind of, sort of, but yeah.
Okay, good.
No.
Good.
I made sure that they knew that we donated to the Central and Community Foundation.
Yeah.
So, because that was their thing, that they make a donation to that, and that's where they're sending all their people now who are asking for donations.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Any questions, comments?
So you're still 450 short then total, right? Okay.
We're trying to see how
Yeah,
we're gonna get the,
right.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Well done.
thank you guys, thank you.
Dave King on the phone.
Okay. How are we looping him in?
Here. Okay, Dave, you have the council.
Okay.
Okay, so good member to the council, I apologize again, the second time on this council meeting, and I didn't put it on my tonight, I apologize, well, even though we checked the date. You have in your packets, I looked the copy of the memo that was summary of the council goals and listing of a top 10 priorities at the end of that memo, starting with the list of goals to complete the priorities for 24-25 were complete well improvements and water system maintenance projects. Second, budgeting for clarity projects, and going all the way down to expanding the Halsey library. If the council adopts these as the council's top 10 priorities for 24-25, then they really are a guide to the council and to the staff for development of the budget document for 24-25, and then for establishing a work program during the next 2-year time frame mentioned in 2024 and during calendar year 2025. Depending on city funding and staff assignments, you may be able to do some of the easier goals first and then work on a couple of harder goals over time, even though it may not be as high a priority. So for example, if you've got funding to replace public works vehicles, which was identified as goal number 9, you may go proceed with that before you're able to put together a funding package for all priority program improvements, which is going to be relying on finding some additional state or federal funding. And so don't think that you've got to work on priority number 1 first and priority 2 second in that format. with having a new city administrator, Brianna may have some different ideas of priorities that she would like to insert into the council's priority list. And we'll be able to work with the mayor and the council on doing things. One of the items that's on here is staff and elected officials training and professional development, which was bill number 5. And that I would encourage the council to set time aside during some council meetings and working with staff. There's some new state public meetings law requirements that our council members and planning commission members and budget committee members to go through some ethics and public meetings law training requirements, and the state ethics government practices and standards commission has not issued rules and guidelines how those trainings are to occur. But I know the individual council members and appointed officials on the planning commission that they have to go through that training during the next year or two. And I believe you're supposed to get training every at least annually, and it may be fall up. And I'd be happy to answer any questions from the council members if you'd like.
Dave, in the past, we've had a breakdown of the council priorities. And then, listed out as 1 through 10, and then underneath each one of them, you've taken like some of our suggestions or whatever of a breakdown as to how to accomplish or what we want or need to be done to accomplish the priority. Is that something that's still coming to us, or?
Yeah, Hillary sat down, broke it down into list of task steps that would be needed, and it's something that Brianna and I should probably do together rather than me developing a list that doesn't fit with what staff is available and what areas of expertise you have.
Okay.
There should be in that list such as the water improvements. We identified completing well 69 with a new well, and then doing certain maintenance projects. And that would be a matter of sitting down with Brianna and Andy and going through and identifying what work can be completed within the next year basis and what the funding opportunities are.
Okay. Yeah, I only see just the 1 through 10, so I didn't see the other stuff underneath, so.
Detailed test. And that's, like I say, that's certainly something that Hillary and I had put together after the council had adopted.
Okay, thank you.
Just really quickly, there is a more detailed list that he's describing,
Yeah.
because the guidance I got was I had not had an opportunity to participate in many of the discussion on that list that he's describing. We wanted to give at least the summary list. But I will provide that other detailed list. It just won't be completely honed in because I have a chance to meet and then be presented again to council. But I can give the full one that you will. That has some of those stuff.
That's what I was talking about, yeah. Thank you.
Anyone else?
And I don't know if it's Dave or Brianna, but how do you find out where those ethics and public meeting law trainings, how do you find out where and when those occur?
The answer is attendance is in person, and I know the League of Oregon Cities is trying to work with the Government Standards and Practices Commission to set up workshops around the state, and then to probably do some online training as well. And none of that has been finalized from what I understand.
Okay, thanks.
So the League of Oregon Cities, the LOC, they usually have some sort of list, and they do the elected, this
Elected
elected essentials training, which is very good.
Mhm.
I want to take it again, actually.
I think it's good, well. Anyone else? Okay, thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Audrey, for calling, and I apologize for any. We had.
Well, have a good night.
Take it. Bye now.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Now, League of Oregon Cities has a lot of those good training, and then sometimes they do access passed down through from OGEC on the annual ethics documentation that we have to do. Okay, so next is reports to council. Start off with the city administrator report, Brianna. The very first one. It's 45.
I didn't memorize it verbatim. I apologize.
Off. We're entirely off here.
Were we supposed to make a motion on the adopting the policies, or is that down farther?
Down below.
Never mind. I realized that as I was saying it. My paperwork's all messed up here.
Are you ready for me?
Yep.
Okay. So my very first report to council, it's lengthy, so I'll hit you primarily with the highlights, and all the details are in here if you want to read it fully, completely. But you know, we've hit the ground running my first month here. One of the things right out the gate is we put in a state funding request to. It was something that the mayor brought forward to us, that he was informed about through our representative, Jamie Kay. And it is essentially like, sometimes we refer to it as the Christmas tree ask, one of the few Christmas tree asks that you can put out to the legislature. And so, we did put in an ask for a public work project around bottom line updates. Never hurts to try. Right, so that was kind of our guidance there, and we got information from Dave Kinney and from Civil West and from Andy in order to make an informed ask, you know, on a short timeline. Next up, the parks project. So as many of you have heard, belabored, I'm sure over time, is that who's gonna remove the trees? ODOT so kindly let us know that they were in fact in ODOT's right of way. They were not part of the next Highway 99 budget. Understandably, it was not part of that project, and so they said, yeah, go ahead and remove those trees if you'd like. At your expense. Fortunately, Andy got some quotes on the trees. And it was within the budget with wiggle room, like enough wiggle room that we were comfortable. For us to go forward with the parks funding and keep that line item for tree removal without having to try to negotiate with ODOT any further. And so we have followed up with those funders and said, yes, it was really about like, do we want that money or not? Because if we weren't going to be able to remove the trees, then we needed to reject that portion of the money, we could move forward with the rest of the funding. So we were able to accept that funding. And once that hits, we can start doing project scheduling. So the park stuff will start moving forward. There's some permitting things, because again, while we have been so kindly granted the permission to pay for the tree removal, we do have to apply for permits through ODOT in order to remove them. So that is something we're working on.
We have to pay for the permits probably too, huh?
You know, if they ask, I might bulk.
Yeah.
I might ask if they could maybe forgive those, considering that we're paying for the rest of it, but
Right.
you know, maybe that'll be on next month.
Venture doubly gained.
Another thing that I want to get on council's radar is the process of engineer of record. And so, as you know, we have Dave Kinney, who are the planner of record. It's the same kind of thing for an engineer of record. There's a process where we essentially do a request for bid. So we have to do a formal process for engineer of record, but we're not asking specifically for like, hey, bid this project for a specific amount. It's more about like, we'd like to know what kind of rates we can expect from you, but we mostly want to know your credentials. And so, because it's a process, I want to just get on everybody's radar, because if that's something that council is interested in me going forward with, is trying to get an engineer of record. Then we can go ahead and start that process. We don't need a motion, I just need a consent. And the benefits are, like with Dave Kinney, we don't have to go out to bid for every time that we use a certain vendor, because we have them of record. We've like done the bid process through that, making them a person who is a used vendor. So there's that, and I don't, because this is my first time, I don't know when I have things in here for kind of a question, do we just go ahead and address it now?
What? I had two things. I thought we had Civil West as our engineer of record, or has that not been a thing in the past? But, okay.
Review
Okay.
and then- I don't think that we have to go through a formal bid process. Civil West is interested in putting their hat in.
Okay.
So
Okay, so
Yes, but no.
what we need is consensus is if we should have, we're gonna move forward with this. Investigating the engineer of record.
I don't know why not. I don't,
Is there any kind of information we have in the background as far as what's to our advantage? I mean, financially, is one more effective than another, or what we're doing, is it working better, or?
I think from what I've experienced, we've had Civil West and they've done us well. I don't recall ever having gone out to bid with anybody else. I think that if we went forward with RFPs, that might be a good starting point to see. Me personally, I'm hesitant moving away from Civil West because they've done well by us in the past, but it's always a good idea to, if we can get the same quality, same consistency, same responsiveness at a lower cost. I'm for that as well, so.
Is it just a namesake thing, or do we have to pay to have them on retainer, or is there,
I don't believe so, no.
no, so it's
so
like,
they're basically just the default?
yes, and then allows us to bypass having to go for bid on everything. It does not mean that we're required to use them on everything.
Okay,
And so we would still have the opportunity to do open bid processes and contact other engineering firms on other projects. But if we were to choose to use our engineer, then we would, that option available to us without having to go through a bid process. I will also say that when you have selected an engineer of record, if you have some relationship with somebody that you use over time, there are pros and cons to that, right? Because you're not doing a competitive bid. You're like, are we saving money or are we not? But they have the history of working with you, so they understand your projects more deeply because they've been done so for you. They're like, oh, we did that study, now we're helping fund the work. So, you know, it's pros and cons in either category. There logistically are some pros in my opinion, in terms of just the amount of like red tape that you have to go through to get a project going.
I think we've been with Civil West for. That could be wrong, it's about 10 years.
A while, yeah, kind of echoes in my head, yeah.
So, you know, it might be a good idea to. Do an RFP to multiple engineering firms to kind of. Get the temperature of what's out there now.
I'm always a big advocate of competitive bidding.
Right. It's up to you guys, what's consensus? Any questions, comments, concerns, opinions?
If we go forward with signing like like with a company like Civil West or whoever else ends up winning the bid, if something changes and it ends up not working out, is it something that we can back out of if need be, or is it gonna have to be like a contract length of time with someone? Like, do we have to sign something for like 2 years or 4 years or?
You know, I have to look into that. I don't know off the top of my head.
I think with most of the contracts, there's a failure to do right clause. Maybe different verbiage, but basically if there's an issue with the contractor. I know the city of Albany had that pretty significant issue with the contractor and so they were able to rectify it.
Making a note to check on that.
We're just gonna table that issue for now.
Well, it's not really tabling, it's just consensus to have her move forward and looking at it. So she has time to research it, come back later.
Well, I guess my question is if we don't know to answer her question, is this gonna be a 2-year, 4-year, when can we get out of the thing? I'm not sure that we're clear on that. I'm not necessarily comfortable on voting even on the consensus. We're not clear on what exactly we're voting on.
Right.
Well, consensus is to, if we're going to investigate having an engineer of record. Doesn't commit us to anything other than saying we're gonna choose an engineer of record. To do that, we have to do RFP. To do the RFP, she's gonna be able to do the legwork, to come back to us and say, we wanna do this, here's what I found. So this is very toe in the water right now.
Yeah,
So I think until we have to vote on a specific engineering firm for engineer of record, there's really not a lot for us to do.
okay.
That's all.
Or if there's the consensus to move forward on investigating them as a default.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah, and I'm not investigating any one firm. I'm investigating the process of doing an engineer record. And if we do move forward to the RFP process, that will go back before you all.
okay.
Okay. All right. Budget committee. 4 vacant budget committee seats. The committee, it did go in the January, Halsey happenings. It did not make it in February's. And some of the like regular flyers and things that we've historically done did not go out until last week. And so we are doing our best to start to advertise it a little bit more aggressively. We did put something on Facebook, which historically we haven't done. But I did kind of look to see what other cities are doing, and other cities are absolutely putting postings for their budget committees on their social media. So if you had following suit, we put our story and pinned to the post. Audrey did a bunch of work to make up the flyer and to make something that was a little more eye-popping for social media to catch people's eye. To my knowledge, we've not received any activity. So this is also a very gentle plea. That if you have any friends that want to be, a part of the budget process, or, other community members that it is, we're definitely looking for people. We need to fill some seats. And as a reminder, it tends to be, one long meeting, possibly a short second meeting. So it's not an enormous time commitment annually. You're supposed to be there for 3 years. So yes, we are looking for people, and the deadline for applications is Tuesday. You're in financials with the bookkeeper. So one of the major things, which I know, because I communicate with you guys, that I've talked about this some, but the quarterly reporting was what we really hired her to do, is to catch up on some of the bookkeeping reconciliation and to catch up on our quarterly reporting, and she has done that, and that's fantastic. One of the things that has been a positive externality of her time here is that she is a bookkeeper by trade, and that's all she does. And so it was almost like our processes went through an audit by having her here, and I think that it was perhaps overdue. So one of the things that she has been able to do is she's collecting notes. She's helping to identify little parts of our regular process that she's like, this could be different, this could be better, this could be smoother. She's looking for efficiencies. And so we are planning to meet this week to discuss her findings. So beyond the fact that she has just kind of done some really task-related work for us to get us back on track with our bookkeeping. She is helping me to sort through the processes that need to be improved, frankly, to be more efficient. And Loris is back. And so I'm starting to kind of be pulling her in on some of that stuff because she's got the history here and she, is so skilled with our systems that we use. And so I'm really grateful that she's back so that she can be like part of the team and we're having those conversations so that we can improve those things moving forward. We had 2 laptops that were like paperweights. That might be an exaggeration, but essentially we had 2 laptops that were not able to access any of our drives, like the things that actually make it so that we can do the majority of our work. We could like get on the internet, we could like use word processing, but we couldn't do our work from them. And so it was a very small investment to get those things to a place where they were functional workstations. And so we went from being down, we had a Band-Aid for Maddie's old computer was like subbing in as our server remote that went down. And then they finally fixed that they'd had for a while. And then we were like down 2 stations and now we like have an additional functional workstation, a backup workstation. Like we have a laptop that if anybody else's computer goes down, that it can like they can use as while something's under repair. So that was something that we worked on. We did have some weird stuff with our cameras. I know that's been something that's happened in the past that was related to the server. And so during the time that they've been sort of working on laptops, we just had to have them come in. They were working on an issue that they've done with the cameras that was resulting in one of the cameras shutting off and then again, like problems with recording. And so those things have all been resolved. I feel like we're in good shape.
Good.
Hopefully no more IT headaches anytime soon. I've been working on baking permissions. I have access to our LGIP account and then the Umpqua account. I know that the last time you guys went through this, it was a painful process and this time it's going to be less painful. And so we have my information back to them so they can create the signing stuff and we will have to go Counselor, and Mayor Lockenbrook and I will have to go down when those things are ready, but it shouldn't be quite so painful. There.
It's less painful than it was last time, but it's still painful. Now that Umpqua is involved, it's gotten incrementally more convoluted. So.
Some of the things, we had a really packed agenda tonight, and so I've been pulling together agenda items that will go into March already. We have a land use one that got bumped down the road, but that will be on our business next time, and I just wanted to use this opportunity to also remind folks that if there are topics that you want included in the agenda, that those are things that you can send to me so that I can make sure to get them included. March or otherwise. And then lastly, we have upcoming events. Next Monday, we are closed for President's Day. City Hall is closed. March 26th at 7 p.m. Central Lynn Rec Center is having an open house event. And April 13th is our Book It Library 5K. My report. Does anybody have any questions?
Very good.
Well,
You did it.
first one.
Today.
I didn't have a sticker for you.
One thing of you.
You're supposed to be in charge of it.
I delegated it.
So the next item on the agenda is the Public Works Department. Andy is out tonight celebrating his father's 91st birthday. So what you see is what you get on the page 47. And if you have any questions or anything like that, you can get hold of Andy and he'll answer them for you. It's a pretty straightforward month.
Is that 10 million gallons?
Yeah.
a lot of gallons.
Yeah,
10 million?
wastewater. Now you gotta remember though, there was a lot of rain.
Right.
And that's includes part of it.
Yeah,
Right.
that's incredible.
Yeah, I saw that, I said, Andy, what, is that a typo? No. And then, they've been working hard, I still, to this day, don't understand how they do all they do. And with that, if there's no questions, comments, move on to library report with Abby.
Hello.
Hello?
Hear me?
We can hear you now.
Okay. Okay, let's see. So for the month of January, we had a total of 78 visitors, which is an average of 4.59 per day. And that does factor in that we were closed for 3 days that we normally would be open due to the ice storm. We added 111 books to the catalog, a lot of which were from a big donation. And that brings our total number of items up to 5,011, which I'm happy about. I was very happy to pass 5,000. For circulation, we had 75 items checked out. And we had 2 new library cards issued, which brings us to a total of 599 patrons. So I really wanted to be at 600, but that's okay. And other than that, I finished one of my grant writing courses, the first half. So now I'm working on the second half of that, and that's going pretty well. I should be done in, I think, about 3 weeks. The library committee and I are still working on the 5K. Right now, we're mostly just distributing flyers and looking for sponsors. So I've handed out some materials and asked some of the local businesses to sponsor and some other places nearby. And so far, that's going well. Registration is open and we already have 4 people registered, which makes me happy. And yeah, other than that, for the 5K, we're still looking for sponsors and volunteers. So if anyone is interested, please just reach out. And I believe that's it. That's all the exciting stuff. Does anybody have any questions?
Well, I would like to ask council members to, all of us, walk the 5K. As a group. Yeah, oh yeah. You don't have to run, walk it. But
Okay.
It's entirely up to you. I'd like to see that happen. I've been trying to get that done for 6 years now. And
We're gonna have a 14-legged race division.
sure, yeah.
We should at least wear matching uniforms or something.
Something,
I can make that happen.
yeah. That'd be awesome. Okay,
That's awesome. There is an option to register as a team and I think save a couple bucks per person if you want to register on the website I have up.
that escalated quickly.
Let's do it. Go team. Awesome.
Thank you very much, Abby.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye.
Night, Abby. Bye.
Oh, my goodness. So, next item on the agenda is council reports. And we start off with mayor's report. And it has been a busy month. Brianna and I attended the League of Oregon City Small Cities Conference in Tangent, and it was her first time going to one. It was quite educational as far as the legislative output of the short session. I I know I got a lot of it. I hope Brianna did. I think she did. And Dan had a meeting with the Department of Land Conservation and Development. Their National Hazards Mitigation Meeting in Tangent. It's a consortium that small communities, Lynn County, Benton County, DLCD are trying to do a mitigating plan for natural disasters and hazards. It comes from a FEMA grant that they're trying to find a way to look forward instead of be reactive to prevent issues, and that's what that's standing up. It's this is the third meeting we've had, and there's gonna be more coming down. And once it's all done, there'll be a driving plan as to how to mitigate issues and interact with other government agencies. I had a couple conversations with Connor, Representative Kate's office, and Senator Hayden's office about the short session and issues relating to small communities and housing specifically. That's one of the big topics. It's gonna be an interesting short session. It'd be kind of sporty. That's all I have. And next is Central Lynn School District with Michelle.
I don't have a lot this month either, especially on the elementary schools, because they didn't have their meeting last night, and I read through my husband's meeting minutes and they're kind of boring too, so not a lot of information other than so like the Central Lynn cheerleaders, they just placed fourth at state this last weekend. The boys basketball team, they won their first round of playoffs last night. They play again tomorrow night. We have one wrestler, Wyatt Tigner. He's going to state, which is not this weekend, but next weekend. FFA, and they had a six-member team in parliamentary procedure. They placed second at districts, and they had one that placed first in public speaking. This weekend here, actually, the FFA group, they're doing a tri-tip dinner drive-through. I don't know if tickets are totally sold out for it. Yeah, let me see, sorry, I screenshotted the.
If anybody needs a copy of the notice, I can get it to you. It's flippin' delicious.
Oh, I did screenshot it. It's, I believe it's $25 a ticket.
I recall.
That's, here it is, 20. And that's for sliced tri-tip, baked potato, coleslaw roll, water and cookies. Or you can do a family pack for 75, which is a four. So it's here at City Hall from 12 to 2 on this Saturday.
You
So
also get to accept the roast.
this Saturday, yeah. Yeah, a full roast for 75. Actually, I'm sorry,
Smoking.
full roast for 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Insignificant.
March 16th is the Booster Club auction. And I would also like to encourage everybody to try to attend that. It is, you could do rent a table, well, not rent, but reserve a table for 10 for $300, or you can do per person tickets are 25. I do not know the times on that. It's usually later afternoon, but I've gone before Mayor went last year. They've got obviously lots of different verbal auction stuff, but they've got baskets, different teams, clubs, classes and everything do tons of baskets that like lined up the whole like hallway down and around kind of thing for silent auction items. And they're always looking for more donations. So if you have anything or want to put something together, let me know. They also had like cake and dessert auction. I don't remember what else, but it was a good time. And it raises a lot of money for the schools to, or for the Booster Club, and they give money for different like uniforms, or they bought the drapes for the stage, the curtains one year for those. So anyways, that's March 16th.
We don't need another thing.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot to let you know, I found out the date the other day, so. We have baseball game that day, so I don't know if I'll be there.
So in sharing hands, there's still a vacancy. So anybody who's interested in representing council that's sharing hands, that would be awesome. Okay. See how you doing?
Jerry?
I doubt it, put it that way.
Okay, okay. Well, you're
Being
taking
honest.
You're taking over COG, aren't you?
Yeah, I could potentially do sharing hands, but it's depend on when their meetings are and what day of the week, basically. My child does rock climbing now in Corvallis, so some of my evenings are spent watching her climb walls.
Is your throat?
Oh, no, she's actually really good, so she's fine, but the gym's just in Corvallis, so.
So there's that request. Next is the Oregon Cascade West Council of Governments Board. That's Councilor Rome.
It's gonna be short again. Got it.
Okay.
We talk about that a minute.
Sure.
I guess my question is it how imperative is it that we feel obligated to send a representative to that?
Yeah,
I was on that previously, and I'll just say for the record,
yeah.
it's the kind of committee that's why people like myself despise government.
Yes, I've done it.
So throwing money, taxpayer money, at things I don't think it's
Right.
appropriate for the government to be spending on.
You know, I think that I had the opinion, and I still kind of do, that hoping that they would do more for small communities.
Mhm.
And it really doesn't feel like that. That's been your experience or not, but
I think their intentions are good. Their meetings are like Thursdays at 2:00.
right.
So somebody who has a regular job, it's really hard to make those.
Sure.
And, the few that I've made, again, apologetically, they weren't super useful. So I don't know. I mean, I kind of agree with Counselor Gilson on that one. I haven't got a lot out of it, and it is a really inconvenient time.
Right.
I mean, I think it's good to stay plugged in every once in a while, and maybe somebody.
Can we be on an email list? Get the information out.
Does anybody know, did they do a streaming of it or?
At one point, they were talking about doing that, and I'm making myself a note here. Find out if they're gonna be doing that again.
I had asked them for like meeting minutes,
Mhm.
just. So I'd be a month behind or whatever.
Right.
But we'd kind of still know what was going on, if anything. And.
I was just thinking along the vein of just being able to audit the discussion, not
Right.
necessarily having to
Right,
physically send somebody.
yeah,
We could at least check in and see what's being discussed, and if there's a red flag, we can say, wait a minute, can we?
and they do have virtual meetings,
Yeah,
but if we could get, their meeting minutes or.
Right.
Or something.
I'll check it.
That might be helpful.
I'll check into that. I mean, I don't think we've really gotten anything from it, and I don't want to be tilting at windmills forever. So if we get minutes, that'll be helpful. And I can add that to my mayor's report. That works. Okay, so there's no business, new business. We pretty much did the Seven Stars meeting request. So the Sweet Home sanitation rate change. This ordinance allows them to adjust price based on CPI. But The dues available and transparent, et cetera. I'd like to hear what you guys think about this. I'm on the fence personally.
About the rate increase?
Yeah.
Do we have any say in
I
it?
was gonna say, do we have it? What's the options if we say no?
Well, in the past, I've only seen it done once. We said, okay, we really need to readjust and look at these numbers, sharpen your pencil and figure out what's going on. I think that fuel's gone up, obviously. Labor hours has gone up, obviously. Insurance for employees has gone up. But I understand all that. I just want to make sure that our community is getting the best bang for the buck. With that, what do you all think?
Well, I've asked this before, but I've never really gotten an answer.
Yeah.
Do we have any options as far as who we contract with? Because I mean, Republic does Harrisburg, right?
Yeah.
And they're all around us, so do we even have an option of making this, like I said earlier, a competitive bid?
We have
Was locked into Sweet Home by some state law or?
No, we have 1 year left on our agreement. We had been approached last year by Republic. But said we can't do anything right now. There's another, at that point, 2 years. I think that, talking with Brianna, that we may approach and do a soft request and say, hey, what can you do? And that when you go back into talking to them at the end of the contract year or agreement year, we can have more teeth, I think.
Who does like Tangent and Peoria use?
They're using Republic. So.
Can we find out what their rate increases were the past 2 years? Republic's?
Sure we could.
Cause last year I was a little shocked at the 8%. I mean, that's pretty rough, but inflation all around has been pretty bad this year.
Right.
And so I was actually kind of pleased with the 4%. I think they do a really good job and it avoids that, giant monopoly.
Right.
With going with Republic if everybody else is doing it. I've been pretty happy with their service. I mean, every time I've
Never had a problem.
made a suggestion, they've always been quick to respond and pretty diligent about doing it.
I've had a couple issues with them over the past few years, but I think new leadership there has gotten better. But I think it's something to look at if we can get better pricing going forward. We should at least look at it,
Yeah, agree.
but
Didn't we pass a resolution a few years ago about what exactly we would agree to as far as rate increases, the percentage or?
We have an ordinance, that's why they're showing on this, we have an ordinance that was, about a 6-year agreement essentially, so we passed a franchise agreement through ordinance. And it says that rate increases can be updated every year based on CPI. If they wanted to do rate increases beyond CPI, it would have to be updated via resolution, so we would have to agree to that, anything above CPI, we would have to agree to and do. This is CPI and I did follow up with him and asked for his source material to sort of verify that what's correct. And so he did respond very quickly, he gave that back to me, it's legit, CPI definitely from Bureau of Labor and Statistics, and he sent me the material that showed like he's historically used the same material, so that I appreciated. But yeah, we have 1 more year with them within this ordinance. So with the year left, it's a good time to be thinking about what you want to do.
The only issue that I know that anyone has with Sweet Home, at least as in my neighborhood, yard debris gets missed a lot. And I know there's a lot of people who have complained that they don't have issues with the drivers, but they have a hard time sometimes talking with the front office
Yes.
because they'll miss like garbage or something on Tuesday and then say, oh, well, we can get a truck out next Monday to pick it up for you. And they're like, well, garbage day is the next day. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Or I know one of my neighbors has requested a glass bin like every single month since I've moved in and they have never dropped one off. So I know some of the neighbors have a few issues with potentially the front office that I know the communications not great with.
I've had them for 20-some years and I've called them quite a bit and I've never had a problem with them.
Yeah, no, they skipped our yard debris for almost 2 months straight.
They've changed their structure some too. They're more kind of more corporate driven than just locally Sweet Home.
Right.
You call in, you get a corporate thing, some, who knows where, I don't know where they're even at. And if you go up to their office in Sweet Home, basically you can't get in. There are people in there.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's
They're not
locked, it's
obligated
phone only.
Or talk to you, you
Right.
have to go through corporate.
Yeah, we had to change over our card when it expired, and I think it took us 5 calls for them to actually put it on file. Cause it just, whoever was dealing with it wasn't actually going through it, so we were getting like late billing notices. And we just called back and they're like, oh yeah, we have it on record that we talked to you, but like, it wasn't actually getting input. So I think more of the issue that like, at least the people that have approached me or have talked to me is with more of the front office than like the physical service, so.
Is that something we should have talked to him about then?
We brought it up last year and you pretty much just said that it was,
Bring it up every year.
But we didn't this year.
it's been the same answer every year, he just says, we'll talk to him.
Be a good thing for Brianna when she meets them again to address.
Well, and the other thing is too, I mean, he mentioned a couple things that they no longer do.
Mhm.
But we're still paying a rate increase.
Right.
And we're getting less service.
Right.
Like the hazardous material, even if you spend your fuel money to go to Sweet Home and dump it, you can't take it to them anymore.
Correct.
That doesn't make sense to me. Who else are you gonna go to if you're?
Right.
I'm not
And
driving to
people
Sweet
can't take the stuff, then you're chasing over the valley on your coin, but you're still asking for a pay raise on the
Right.
rate.
I agree.
I don't,
It's a good point.
I think it's at least worth talking to him to see. Just kind of what. I guess the possibilities are and kind of what some of the office issues have been or the concerns about, what they're not taking anymore.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, given it's the last year of our current agreement, it's a good time for us to be thinking about these things. And so I'm jotting down notes because what I'm hearing from you all, and what I have already considered is that, as the mayor mentioned, doing some soft outreach to other agencies. What I've also been doing is connecting with neighboring municipality to get information from them about what kind of franchise agreements they have with Sweet Home or otherwise. Because other managers very open with sharing their information with each other, which is fantastic. So those are things that I'm working on now. And then finding our franchise agreement, because I'm new here, that we have with Sweet Home, because I was able to find the ordinance, which was for this meeting, but I would love to see the whole thing. Feels important, so I can go ahead and start gathering information that's gonna inform negotiations. We're probably not in a place where we're negotiating for 6 months. I mean, we just. But it's good for us to be prepared. And maybe go to bed.
Yeah.
If that's what it feels like the information is telling us.
Anything else for that? No? Okay, move on to adopting the 2024-2026 council priorities. Pretty cut and dry based on what they were saying. Once the adopted priorities are intended to bring focus to council and staff conversations, to use city resources, staffing time and budgeting for future planning. So I would accept the motion.
the governing body of City of Halsey approve the 2024-2025 budget calendar submitted.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote.
I'm sorry. I thought we were doing the council goals.
Yeah. Council priorities.
Council priorities.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought we did that when he was talking.
no, we didn't do the motion part,
Council goals.
and so you had jumped forward to budget, we're not there yet.
Okay, I thought.
Okay.
Priorities. We don't want to start over on that? Okay. So I'd entertain a motion for council priorities 2024-2026 adopted.
It's on
These
page
options.
57.
I move that the governing body of the city of Halsey adopt the 2024-2025 council goals as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So the next item on the agenda is adopting the budget calendar. Is there anything you wanted to mention about that, Brianna?
And so those are pages 71 through 73 of the packet, and the only thing that I'm noting here is that it's pretty typical of what you've seen before, same timeline. Historically, the first orientation is the very last week of March, but we bumped it out to very, very early April. It's not a big difference, but it is a difference. Also, historically, the way that they always scheduled the second budget committee meeting, which has always been only as if needed, is to schedule it for the hour before the council meeting. Should we need that? That made me really uncomfortable because that would have been, even though that meeting should be short, we historically never needed it. But if we need it, it would be shorter, presumably, but if you had to do it before council, you would have 45 minutes. And that felt too tight.
Yeah.
So the timing between the first meeting and the second meeting got shortened. It's only a week apart. But it is a separate day, which I know that makes for a lot of evenings here for those of us that go to all those things. But yes, historically, we have not needed it. If we need it, it looks a little different this year.
Any questions, comments? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion.
So do we want to make those modifications?
So this.
Those are in.
Differences, how it's been in the past to how I did it. So past budget committees always scheduled the second meeting on the same day as May council. And I didn't choose to do it that way. So this calendar is the draft ready for approval.
Gotcha. That is a different day than council.
Entertain a motion.
I move that the governing body of the city of Halsey approve the 2024-2025 budget calendar as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is appointing a city budget officer for 2024-2025 budget cycle. Question, comments? Brianna, do you notice anything?
Historically, what Halsey does is they appoint the city administrator as the person I'm talking, I'm so sorry. As the budget officer, I don't know that anybody else has volunteered, so I'll just put that out there. It is a formality, we are required all these members to do so.
And with that, I would entertain a motion.
And with the governing body of the city of Halsey appoint and designate the city administrator to be the budget officer for the fiscal year 2024-2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Even more work for you.
Only question I have with budget, if we have 4 openings, do we have any citizens on budget committee right now?
We have 2 citizens on budget committee. The standard is that you want an equal number of citizens that are not council members.
Yeah,
As council members, and we're looking to fill like at least 6.
yeah, because I know you were normally on budget committee, but now you're obviously employed now, so.
That's best practice. What we are bound to do is show our effort to try to fill those spaces. So that's why we are now advertising a little more aggressively so that we can, I guess, historically, we usually don't have an equal number of citizens as counselor, but we want to show our due diligence.
Works.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is something we haven't had in a while. It's a resolution. Resolution 2024-728, a resolution of the city of Halsey authorizing a loan from the Clean Water Revolving Loan Fund by entering into a financing contract with the Oregon Department of Environmental Quality. Anything you wanted to address on that?
Yes, and so this should be familiar to you all, actually. So at, I don't believe the last meeting, but perhaps the one before that, you passed by motion an agreement to enter into a forgivable loan with the DEQ, and it was for $100,000 for the wastewater planning. And so we heard back from the lending agency that one of the tenets of the loan agreement is that we pass this by resolution. And so we have to do it again because it has to be for a license resolution. Resolution on page 79. It goes through a little bit more of the details, including the $100,000 with $100,000 being owed for forgiveness. Our interest rate if contract conditions are not met. And then our sources of repayment, which just says basically our money. We will give them our money. No, it is that basically any of our sources of payment could be from our net operating revenues. So basically our debt or any of our funding. It's not specified that it has to be a specific fund or budget.
Any questions, comments, concerns?
So in other words, this money's already covered.
Yeah, this is kind of a pro forma related that it requires. So if nothing else, I would entertain a motion.
I move that the city of Halsey adopt resolution 2024-728, a resolution of the city of Halsey authorizing a loan for the Clean Water Revolving Loan Fund by entering into financing contract with the Oregon Department of Environmental Quality.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you much. And with that, we will adjourn at 8:36.
Just say it was